welcome back to Leo Gaming. Today, I'm just going to have a little opinionated video, as I've watched a lot, to be honest, from Sony fans, Xbox fans, just about how Sony's behaving and how Microsoft is progressing quite well. Now, obviously, I've got an Xbox Series X, been Xbox since Xbox 360, and Game Pass, love it, fantastic, great for people with kids, especially for my little boy. You know, you've got such a collection on there for one monthly subscription, brilliant. You know, I don't have to spend 60, 70 quid on a new game. I can just, you know, use Game Pass. But like I say, I've been watching a lot of videos. I'm watching Sony's moves, Microsoft moves, and I've watched quite a few videos. I've watched a video on YouTube from someone rattling on about Game Pass's playing Xbox Game Pass subscribers, talking about comparing it to Netflix and how the price rises once they've got you in. Well, yeah, of course it does. Anything rises over time. You know, and the better Game Pass gets, you know, us Game Pass Xbox subscribers aren't stupid. We know it's going to raise eventually. The more they do for it, the more it's got to rise, really, because it costs more. So that's a bit divvy. But the funny thing is, obviously a Sony fanboy, because he turned around and went, how when the PS5 game is raised by 10 quid, $10, wherever you are, that's ergonomics. That makes financial sense. Yet, apparently, if Game Pass happens to rise in the future, that's playing us. Seriously, I think it's no disrespect, right? I love PlayStation. I always have done. I had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. I lost interest in the PS3, and I've stuck with Xbox since the Xbox 360. So, you know, even before the PlayStation, it was Mega Drive. I was a Sega fan when Sega was in its heyday, and I still. The moves that Sony are making, fucking, they're going to be next Sega. The way they're going, if they continue like this for a couple of years. Anyway, this geezer was rattling on, and I just noticed with Sony, because I'm trying to find out how Sony fans really feel about this, you know, about how Sony are behaving and what the decisions they're making. A lot of it's universal. You get rid of Jim Ryan. Just is standard. To be honest, he's obviously not taking it in the right direction, and it's sad to see. It's quite disappointing, because eventually I was going to get PS5 along with my Series X, because I like the exclusives that PlayStation have. Uncharted is one of my favourite PlayStation exclusives. You know, so I was going to get PS5 eventually, but the way they're going, I'm thinking, oh no, fuck that. No, the way they're going, I'm not going to buy a PlayStation at the minute. Just the moves they're making, the decisions they're making. I mean, the recent one, Last of Us remake. Seriously? Like, I've watched a couple of other videos as well of a couple of people, neutrals as well. You get neutrals saying The Last of Us, and this is Sony. The Last of Us doesn't. Sony fans, The Last of Us doesn't need a remake, and it doesn't. It does not need a remake. Uncharted 1, apparently that was originally what they wanted to do, but cancelled that. Uncharted 1. So what if it costs more? I guarantee that sells still. And I think Sony, again, I've made a couple of comments on Facebook. Sony, I agree. Sony, and I do think Sony don't have the same money to match Microsoft, which is fair enough, you know. At the end of the day, Sony have got to manage within their means, but the problem is they're cutting off their history to try and do that, i.e. the PlayStation store, or the PS3 store, the PS Vita, and they're mugging this is another thing I don't get. Sony fanboys are still sort of trying to mug Xbox off like they do, even though Xbox at the moment are pro-consumer and doing the best for the Xbox fan base. Like, every move they make is best for Xbox fan base. Anyone with a Game Pass, anyway. Yet Sony lied that they were sketchy about even releasing the PlayStation 5, like even coming out of any information about it. like that big delay between the Xbox being announced and there was all that sketchiness about it, and it was just sort of like, there's something that even back then, I think there was this internal problem they were having with regards to even announcing the PlayStation 5, and the restructuring of the Japan studios, absolutely fucking ridiculous, to be honest with you. I mean, the PlayStation originated from Japan. Sony, what are you doing? The company, the PlayStation's home is Japan. Its birth was Japan. You can't just suddenly restructure that studio and think, fuck the Japanese market. The original games, some of the best games from the PlayStation 1 and 2 days were Japanese. Like Resident Evil, the original Resident Evils, Dino Crisis, Silent Hill, the original ones, obviously on the PlayStation 1. The Metal Gear Solid, all these Japanese top sellers, and it's like they're just disregarding that. And the fact that Jim Ryan, it's like no one wants to play our games. Yes, they do, mate. Yes, they do. Why do you think we have emulators? Why do you think PC gamers get emulators? Why do you think people try to hack into that way of using the Xbox as a dev kit to use it as an emulator? Why do you think people do that? Because they want access to the back catalogue as legally as possible. Most people, anyway. You know, I mean, an Xbox are going about it the right way. There's still some games I don't understand why Xbox. I mean, for Xbox, I really want Fear 1 and 2, not 3. That was shit. Fear 1 and 2 as back compat, one of the best games for the 360, but for some reason it's been lost in. I think it's something to do with licensing and the coding, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I've seen so many. But Sony constantly lying to their fans. Constantly lying to the fans. They lied about the, what was the thing that come out? Something to do with the specs of the PlayStation 5 itself. They lied about something. I can't remember what it was. Was it the SSD speed? No, it wasn't the SSD. Something else, anyway. They lied about it, and there was the PlayStation Store now, this recent thing where apparently you can't even download go and buy. We're going to shut the PlayStation Store in July, but yeah, go and download and pay full whack for these games, old games, and you know, get them as quick as possible. We close the store. Suddenly, but you're not going to be able to get the best version. The patches are being removed. Again, it's another little sneaky thing. Sony seem to be being very sneaky in their approach. Xbox have been completely open and honest about their goals, where they want to go, where they want to be, where they see the future. Sony, personally, a month ago, I don't think they had a fucking clue. Now, I think Sony do have a clue, and I think it's a completely fucking shit way of going about it. We only want AAA exclusives. Okay, kind of works in a way. But how many AAA exclusives are you going to be releasing a year? Like, to keep the satisfaction high, you need to be releasing a good 5-6 AAA games. Apparently, they want, you know, award-winning film-style games constantly. It's like, yeah, but what makes the console? The indie games. It's the small indie games that make the console. You know, little games, like even on the Xbox, I play a Prison Architect. It's a little indie game, but it's brilliant. It's got that old school, it's got that old school feel about it. And that's what I love. Every now and then you want to pick up a game like that, not have to play for a fucking 15 to 20 hour cinematic story driven game every time you play the console. I mean, if that's where Sony think that's where the future of gaming is, they're going to go out of business very, very rapid. Yes, the Sony exclusives are fantastic games. Don't get me wrong. But they cannot solely rely on the exclusives. Yes, they will sell. Yes, they will make a little bit of money. But they're not going to make as much money as what Game Pass will or Xbox will. Like, the thing is, you're talking about Xbox having more money to start with. Well, Sony need to play catch up with that. Yes, Microsoft have been playing catch up with Sony for some years, but if you want to try and make more money, you need to do something that competes with that. So what? The thing is, you've already got the infrastructure for PS Now. or PS Plus, whatever the fuck one it is. I don't know why they're not together, but whatever one is the one that you stream. I mean, even then you're streaming the fucking games. I can't stand streaming games. That really pisses me off. Because even if you have got a good Wi-Fi connection, it still doesn't. I'm not a great lover of streaming. The game's got to be physically on the SSD for me. But anyway, so even then it's streaming. So combine the two together and improve that. Don't just solely rely. Personally, my personal opinion is the exclusive game. This generation, you will see exclusives, the reliance on exclusives fade. But Sony are going wholeheartedly into relying on exclusives. But the thing is, they're not backing it up with anything. If you're going to go wholeheartedly with exclusives, back it up. Say, right, these exclusives are going to go on PS Now for free. But you're not going to, because Sony have always considered the short game. Sony considered the short game, and they have done for some years, and it's bit them in the arse. Microsoft have been thinking long game for the last, I would say, 2 generations. Long game. Since the Xbox One was announced with the fucking Kinect, and they thought sole reliance would be on films. What a big mistake that was by Microsoft. But guess what? They then, straight away from that, looked at the long game and reacted rapidly. And they're reaping the rewards for that now. Sony, you just rely solely on exclusives. You're playing the game that worked back in the mid-90s, late 90s, early 2000s. That strategy of exclusives worked back then. But we're in the modern day now. Everything's, subscription-based. I hate to say it, but that is the way things are going to go. And you will get still physical copies, but to be honest, that's going to be the gaming industry that decides that anyway. I prefer disc. I haven't bought any discs during this pandemic because obviously you can't go out anywhere. I like to go to a shop and actually go and buy a disc. So I've been buying digitally. But even then, I just think you're playing a game that worked back then, and you haven't thought about the future. Jim Ryan, Jack, whatever the fuck, for some reason I thought it was Jack Ryan. I'm thinking of Jack Reacher. But I just think Microsoft are pulling all the strings at the minute, and this generation, Sony's going to fall behind massively if they think the exclusives is what's going to be the sole thing of a console. It sells a console, but you're making losses on those consoles anyway, so don't really work, that one, does it? You need some sort of subscription service and not streaming it. An actual service that the player can download the game onto their console. PlayStation, buck your ideas up. Sony, buck your ideas up. Change the management, switch it around, do whatever. Because it ain't working clearly. Fair enough, Microsoft, yes. Sony fanboys, but Microsoft don't have exclusives. But that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, the exclusives, to me, and a lot of, probably I would say, big families or people with kids will probably say, yeah, but Game Pass gives you more for your buck, more for your dollar. So I don't think prediction. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I predict that exclusives will be the downfall of Sony, or the sole. No, not be the downfall. The sole reliance on exclusives. Back that up. Put the games for free for PlayStation users on PlayStation Now, or back it up and don't raise the game prices to $70 and keep it at $60. And that's another thing which slightly annoys me. I watch a lot of Sony fanboys. Everything that Xbox does is wrong, but everything that Sony do is right. Now, just remember, you get a lot of Sony fans. I think there's a lot of younger Sony fans that forget or don't realise that they have a go at Xbox of buying Bethesda and all the big companies. But just remember, Sony did that. I mean, Sony bought Naughty Dog. Now, Naughty Dog was actually an already established successful developer, i.e. Crash Bandicoot, before Sony bought them. Yes, Naughty Dog were only making the game for PlayStation because that was the only main competition out there, and they bought Naughty Dog before Xbox came onto the scene, so then Xbox couldn't use a Crash Bandicoot game. But just remember that Naughty Dog were also already successful before Sony bought them. So just look at Sony's history of buying up developers also. Yeah. Yes, Sony did nurture Naughty Dog into the best, I would say, along with Rockstar, developers in the world, and they make some brilliant games. But what do you think Sony are going to do with Bethesda? They're going to create some new IPs. They're going to create solely for Xbox, aren't they? So you've got to give you can't have a go at Microsoft for buying them. You know, yes, Bethesda games were already on, PlayStation platforms, but you can still play the old Bethesda games. It's just the new ones you're not going to be able to play. But boo-hoo, guess what? I want to play Metal Gear. I want to play the, when the Metal Gear Solid 1 remake comes out. That is my favourite game, Metal Gear Solid. Guess what? That's only going to come out on PlayStation. It's not going to come out on Xbox. But guess what I have to do? I have to deal with that. That's called life. So, for Sony fanboys seem to get this really frustration that when Microsoft does something, it's not okay for Microsoft to do it, but Sony can do it. It's fine for Sony. The price hike. This other geezer I was listening to, the games have gone up on PS5 games to $70. That's cool. That's just ergonomics. That makes financial sense. But if the subscription goes up on Game Pass, Xbox are playing you. See what I mean? Everything Microsoft does, no. And the problem is Sony's had so much of the market share, and the fanboys have been so catered for. I think they're struggling. Yes, Sony are making some shit decisions, but that's how it is. Anyway, I'm rambling now, and I don't want this video going on too long, and my legs are aching. That's my opinion. Again, I hope PlayStation turn it around, because the more competition, the better. If Sony turn it around, that will make Microsoft do something more, then Sony could do something more, vice versa. That's how it should be. Constant back and forth. So, that's my opinion. If you don't like it, tough. I don't care. Any opinions, let me know in the comments below. Love you and leave you. Bye-bye.